children, I would love to give you an excuse for that Dolphins game, but I don't have one. No, I saw the game, and I know what the first question everybody is going to be, but your numbers said, and yeah, basically what the Harvard report and even my numbers said was this: the Dolphins have all of the back end mechanics, they have all the weapons to be a good team. Now, it falls on them to execute, and there is no excuses for that game. It was a bad game, but, and I've said this in my tweets since preseason, a lot of our problems, the majority of our problems stem from our offensive line, and the offensive line, if they don't, the biggest thing for me is Tannehill isn't protected. If Tannehill isn't protected, he's going to get hurt. Who is it? Ben Roethlisberger, he got hurt today. Romo's already gotten hurt. Those are two teams, the Cowboys and the Steelers, that actually have, you know, effective offensive lines, and those two quarterbacks are hurt. So if you have Tannehill running out there getting cheap shots, and then after the play, all these little things going on, he's going to get seriously hurt. And the problem is we don't have a running game because, one, they want to build, you know, a whole thing around him. You know, they're paying him to throw. They want to be a throwing team, which is all good and fine, but you can't have a running game either if you don't have an offensive line. If that line isn't blocking, you have a problem. I think it's interesting though, Tom Brady, when they played the Bills, he didn't have the ball in his hand for longer than 2 seconds, they were saying. So the Bills their defense was, you know, rushing the Patriots, and they weren't getting anywhere because he was quick to release the ball. Which is something, yeah, I agree with, but it's a good idea, but you're still going to have plays that you have to run where you're going to have to hold that line. And you're going to have to hold the goddamn line. And they didn't, and I've made the sandcastle metaphor before. It was so true today. I would completely, effectively blow up the damn line. I've said this again and again. Blow it up. You need to get new people in there. Funny enough, I think Pouncey was injured on a play. Mike Pouncey, who's the only effective player in the damn offensive line. The offensive line is horrible, and it's creating multiple problems. Our defense was, yeah, it was sloppy. It was lethargic, and it was sloppy. And, well, the problems, here's the thing. And it all comes down, and I've said this too with the Heat. You want a balanced system, and a balanced system is a good offense and a good defense. But when your offense is falling apart, when your offensive line falls apart and you can't score, who does all the pressure now go to? Your defense. So now our defense is going to be constantly out there, tired, dragging, and that's where the lethargic comes from. If they're spending too much time on the field, what do you expect's going to happen? You're not helping them out. There are no excuses for this game, but when one doesn't help the other, if the offense is supposed to spend the majority of the time out there, because if you overwork your defense, you're in trouble. And that's exactly what we saw today. The offense didn't spend enough time on the field. The biggest thing I didn't like, the play that I did not like was when the Dolphins were on, what was it, the 3-yard line or the 1-yard line, they had a chance to score, and they didn't score at all. And to me, that drive right there was the whole game. Just ineffectiveness. Just you weren't being effective. The Bills, I think the takeaway everyone's going to say is, look, the Bills are dominant. The Bills are a great team. But in this game, it was the Dolphins losing. It was the Dolphins losing on the Dolphins' own merit. It's you lost this game because of what you did, and what you didn't get beat by a better team. You got beat because it was just there were no fundamentals. It was sloppy. It was very amateurish. And you're in one of the hardest divisions of the entire NFL. You really don't have time for this. I know everyone's gonna blame the coaches. Everyone's gonna blame, which I don't blame you for blaming Philbin for putting that offensive line, him putting them out there. If he thinks that's the winning formula, how bad is my question? My next question is, how bad is the rest of them? Because I would immediately say nope, nope, nope. You got to blow up the offensive line. You just do. I don't care if you have to start. I would be starting other people. You just can't. You can't work. You can't win with what's going on now. There's no excuses. The next game is in London, so we're and it's against the Jets. So we're basically sending them abroad. But this game was, yeah. I think everyone complained about the Jaguars, which I wasn't ready to concede anything to the Jaguars. But this game, pretty much, it just and this is the team. This is who you have to beat if you want to go anywhere. You have to beat the Bills and you have to beat the Patriots. Those are who you have to beat, and this is the amazing thing. You have everything there. You have all the components. This is what the number said. You have the components to win. Now you have to execute. But the components are there. The engine is there. The pieces are there. Now you just have to go out there and do it. And you have to be, fundamentally sound. And you can't be sloppy. And, if you can't do the basics, you're not going to win. And we're beyond that. So that's where I am. That's where I am with the Dolphins. But they have the pieces there. Now it's just the execution. That's what my numbers say. Can they come back? Sure. Can they come back from this? Yeah. Again, it's going to come down to execution. Funny enough, the Dolphins usually, when they play, which is weird, Jets versus Dolphins in in London, but what have you. Which is weird because they usually play well when they play abroad. Don't ask. But let me know what you think of this game. They can come back. I'll do a separate video on how they come back. But it really, all roads lead to that goddamn offensive line. That offensive line. And the thing is, our quarterback is going to get hurt. That's the biggest thing with me. Everyone's like, well, look at the score. It's horrible. It's bad. Losing a game is losing a game. When one of your top players goes down, like the Dolphins have no room for that. I don't think anyone understands. They don't have any room to lose anybody right now. So, and you don't want just in the nature of humanity. I don't want anybody hurt. Like that's one. And you don't want your player hurt. You know what I mean? Like you don't want people getting hurt like that. And this is the thing. It's unnecessary. So let me know how you feel about this game. I'll do a separate video on how they come back and. Yeah. Shirt still looks good though. That's it for me. Took out the greatest show on earth. Live long and prosper. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Poke. Someone has to get mad though. Someone needs to just be. Someone really, because they came back in the second half and they had some like one or two plays, where they scored. But somebody really just needs to be. I think as frustrated as we are, and I think that's a problem too. You don't see anybody frustrated on that team. Like they're all just like, you get the feeling they're all just like, nah.